Hello, Bible readers. It is Monday, May 3rd. We're reading Jeremiah 37 to 40 and Hebrews chapter 12. Chapters 37 to 44 deal with the last days of the southern kingdom. Chapter 36 ended by declaring God's decision to bring judgment on the disobedient, and that judgment was not going to be changed. Like, this is happening. Individuals could still save their lives by surrendering to the Babylonians, which is an interesting word from Jeremiah, a God who doesn't like when kings make allies with Egypt or Babylon or anybody else, but at this point saying, all right, but since it's happening, individuals, what obedience looks like now is letting it happen and just go with it and surrender to the Babylonians. So we're now in the section in chapter 37 when we see what exactly happens to the sinking ship that is Judah and Jerusalem in particular. Zedekiah and Jeremiah do not part on good terms, of course. An Ethiopian, Ebed-Melech, saves Jeremiah's life after he's entombed. It's a more plot-driven section than the rest of Jeremiah. Which, the rest of Jeremiah is so full of proclamation, just a lot of words, some response from the king. But Jeremiah's fate, as we see the plot bear itself out, Jeremiah's fate follows a scriptural pattern. Moses doesn't get to enter the promised land. Jesus, of course, suffers and dies. Stephen is stoned for prophetic words after Jesus' ascension. John the Baptist, most of the Old Testament prophets don't make it. Jeremiah, in this scriptural moment, as Jerusalem, as Judah slip into exile, Jeremiah stands in as the representative of the faithful way, which almost always gets beaten, literally, by the world, persecuted, imprisoned, killed. So that's Jeremiah is the manifestation, the example of being faithful to God's way in this moment. Okay, Hebrews 12. Faith as endurance is the theme. So again, echoing Jeremiah and this scriptural theme of how the faithful will be subjected to worldly challenges, persecution, imprisonment, death. There were martyrs, there had to be, among the communities who would have heard or read Hebrews. But notice the call is not from Hebrews for death. It could say, so seek martyrdom. The author does not suggest we all do that. Instead, it's suggested that we Christians would endure. Faith endures. So that's the exhortation at this point. Endure. That's what faithful is. Faithful is not necessarily getting yourself killed. Faith is enduring. Jesus endured the cross. Be like that. Do like that. That was faith. Endurance, Hebrews is saying, is a spiritual discipline. Like prayer is a spiritual discipline that brings us closer to God. Like Bible reading is something that brings us closer to God. Enduring does too. So you might wonder, how? How do I endure this persecution, imprisonment, suffering, death, whatever it is? And that's where Hebrews goes next. Pursue peace. Advocate for others to know God's grace. Notice he's not suggesting to put our heads down and dig deeper. Endurance is about calling upon a greater strength that you have in yourself. Instead, what's called for is greater engagement in community, pursuing peace with others, advocating for others to know God's grace, loving our neighbors harder. I am one with my God. My God is with us, all of us, at all times and in all places.